What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Mopods. It's been a minute. If you're new here, I'm Mo. It's kind of a running joke at this point that I start every episode with "It's been a minute" because it takes me forever to record these. I think the last time I was here was November, probably with Heated Rivalry and The Long Game. I have since read like 6 books. I just didn't record any of them. I was just procrastinating. I got lazy and I didn't do it. So instead of making 6 different videos because I don't want to, also because I read some of these a while ago and I don't remember half the shit that happened, it doesn't feel fair for me to like just say random shit. So I'm just gonna put them all together, and honestly it works out because they're all the same genre. They're sports romance. Now, I got trapped in this genre. I did not mean to do this. I'm trying to get out of it. Like, I have nothing against the genre, don't get me wrong. I like reading them. It's just, I need to read something else. And I am. I'm reading Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. And let me tell you something. That motherfucker has the tiniest of words. I don't understand why his words are so small and why he decided he wanted to fit like 1,000 words on each page. But that is what he did. And the book is already huge, which I did not realize that going in. Like, I think it's like 500 something pages. So, and like, don't get me wrong, I like big books. It's just, I'm a very slow reader, and it's going to take me forever to get through that book. Honestly, I wish he would have just put normal sized fucking words. Like, genuinely, they are so small. And just add more pages. I don't know. But anyways, I'm reading that. It's gonna take me a while to get through. I already know that. I am having a good time though. Like, it's going well. However, these books, I have 3 hockey, 2 Formula 1, and 1 football, American football. And with those, let's just say I did not have a good start to the year. There's 2 3 stars, 3 2 stars, and 1 1 star. So you know what, let's just get into it. I'm gonna go in order I read them. I don't remember the dates because I'm looking. I don't know, my Goodreads on here is being absolute shit and it's just like not telling me. But anyways, I think I read this in like December of last year, so it has been a minute. So the first one I read is Save the Game by J.J. Mulder. It is part of a, what is it? The SCU hockey series. It's book 2. I went through these and this is the one that stood out the most that I wanted to read. It's a standalone, so they're all standalone, but you know, same universe type thing. How most of these are, I think. This has a 4.07 star rating on Goodreads. I gave it a 3, and I'll tell you why. But as per usual, I'm gonna read the summary of it and then talk about it after. So, and I am gonna give trigger warnings for this because after I read the summary, I'll give it. There's nothing in here, I don't think. But make sure you actually go look at the trigger warnings in case I'm missing any. But yeah, so after a traumatizing event in Ruff's sophomore year, Max Comper, I think that's how you say his last name, I don't really know, does his best to keep his head down and not draw attention to himself. School and hockey are the only 2 things he can handle. It's all he can do to keep himself afloat. He wants to forget about what happened to him and bring the secret to his grave. Confident and flirty Luke Kelly likes to play the field, dating as well as baseball. When he meets Max during a night shift at work, he takes an instant liking to him. Despite the other man's reserved exterior and shy personality, But secrets have a way of coming to light, and both Max and Luke will have to come to terms with what that means for their relationship. So, the trigger warnings for this, the main ones that I remember, rape. So, the main character, does get assaulted. He also gets drugged. What else? It's PTSD, from it. So he has a eating disorder, insomnia, nightmares, that sort of thing. I think that's it. I think that's it. That's a lot. But I will say, before you decide whether you want to continue listening to this or not, the author doesn't go into like extreme detail for any of these. It's more of like, so the assault happens at the beginning of the book, but what we see is he's in the hospital, like all disoriented, and they're telling us, like, or they're telling Max too what happened, which they don't exactly know what happened either. Nobody does, because Max was drugged so much that he doesn't remember. So we don't get like a detailed description of what happened. And then like we fully skip to a year later after that one scene of him in the hospital. And I mean, of course it is there. Like, we're seeing in the book like how it affected him. The eating disorder, it's like it's talked about, but like he still eats in a way that I mean, he's an athlete. He's like the star hockey player. He has to keep his weight up. So he does eat. It's just, you know, smaller amounts. They don't talk much about it, if I'm being honest. It is there. It's mentioned. It's just they don't go into detail. Let's see. The nightmares are talked about. And then the assault is talked about again at certain points in this. Again, it's not like much detail. The most detail we get is at the very end, when the person that did it is like saying sort of what happened. Except he doesn't go into detail either. He does like say some stuff, but yeah. So yeah. If you still don't want to listen to this, I will put on the screen where to skip to, and you can go to the next book, because this is the only one that's like that. So yeah. So anyways, I guess I should have mentioned already that this was spoilers. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry, I'm back. My mom was calling me. Anyways, what was I saying? I don't remember. I guess it, okay. let's get into this. Okay. So Max is our star hockey player. Hockey really isn't mentioned at all in this. Neither is baseball really, except when Max's best friend, because Max's best friend is his roommate, and he's also on the baseball team. I simply don't remember his name. I feel like it starts with an M. Maybe like Marcus? I don't know. I'm so sorry to that man, but he's on the baseball team with Luke. So like that's mentioned sort of, but like other than that, baseball's not mentioned either. I guess hockey is mentioned in a way that like Luke was watching him play. Yeah. But anyway, so Max, he is hockey. Luke is a baseball player for the same university. Um, they are both gay, I believe. I don't think either of them are bi. I'm getting like all of them confused, so I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure they're both gay. And they're both verse. We have a verse couple. I love verse couples so very much, okay? Um, it is my shit. Like, I love this. Uh, so here's the thing. I should probably mention this before we go in. I should have mentioned this before I start talking about this. My rating system, I've mentioned it before, but I'm gonna say it again. 5 is just like perfect, no changes, loved it. 4 is I loved it, but there was like a few things that I wanted to change. 3 is I liked it, but I didn't love it. So it's still a good rating for me. I do reread some of my 3s. I don't read all of them, but I do reread some of them. 2 is I disliked it. There were a few things I liked. 1, it was just ass. I don't rate my DNFs. That's fully preference. If y'all rate them, I don't really care. It's up to y'all. Anyways, so this 3-star though, I don't think I'm going to reread ever again. I liked it. It's just, it's not one of those books that I really want to read again. But anyways, so let's talk about it. I feel like I'm probably going to talk more about like why I gave it 3 stars instead of why I liked it, just to keep this shorter and to tell y'all the reasons instead of like fully going into it. But I will say on the likes part, I really like Luke's character. I mean, I like Max too, don't get me wrong, but Luke's character is just so fun. I really like him. He's one of those guys that's like, he's kind of like a player in the sense that he dates a lot of people, but he's not a cheater. When he's dating someone, he's loyal. He just gets tired of people easily until he meets Max, of course. And I really like Max because, he's such a mood, like introverted, my guy, me too. So yeah, the reason they meet is because Max has insomnia, he can't sleep. I think he had a nightmare. It's like 2 a.m. He goes to this diner that Luke works at and they meet there. Luke starts flirting with him because it's what he does, and we kind of just like, their relationship goes from there. Their relationship is really cute, I will say that, like, it's cute. Now the reason I did give it 3 stars is there was a point, this is more like second half of the book. The first half of the book, I was having a good time, to be honest. But then at some point, so Luke's best friend's brother is a cop, and he is a cop that was working or investigating who attacked Max at the beginning of this. This cop told his sister what happened to Max. Mind you, Max was keeping this a secret. He didn't tell anyone what happened to him. The only person that knows is the cops, the doctors, the people that did it, and his roommate / best friend, okay? Max was keeping this a secret. He didn't want to tell anyone. He didn't want anyone to know. So this cop tells his sister, and when his sister finds out about Luke dating Max, she tells him. And I'm just sitting here like, that is so fucked up, for one, that this cop told her about it and that she told him. And like, I can't fully like blame Luke for this because he didn't know what she was gonna tell him. She just told him. She was like, I think you need to know this. And my thing is, it's not her shit to tell. Like, she should not have told him. However, how I do fault Luke is because he didn't immediately tell Max that he knew when he found out. Instead, he kept it from him. Why? It was stupid. He kept it from him, and then it slipped one day. And Max got mad, rightfully so. And then afterwards, Max was the one that apologized for getting mad about it. And like, Luke did too, don't get me wrong, but why the fuck did we have Max apologizing for that? Because his reaction was valid, and I don't understand why we were getting him to apologize. I don't know. That was weird to me. And he also just like didn't even stay mad for long. Like, Luke didn't do a goddamn thing to like get in his good graces, I guess. Which, like, don't get me wrong, Max told him to leave him alone, which he did. He respected that. But they had like a little conversation and they were good again, and I was just like, what the fuck was the point of that? That shit made no sense. So I didn't like that. I didn't like any of that storyline. Hated it very much. And then also his best friend, just kind of annoyed the shit out of me, if I'm being honest. So his best friend is like feeling guilty this entire time because he's the one that brought Max to the party. And I get that. I get the guilt, but God, he was essentially trying his best to get Max and Luke not to date this entire time. It was just like, I don't know, he was being annoying. And I initially was gonna read his story because he has his own story in this. But after reading him in this book, I simply decided to not read it. So yeah, he just annoyed me. Yeah, I did not like that. It just, yeah, it wasn't the best there. And I don't know, like, I just like this book. I liked it, I did. I just didn't love it. So you get my 3, and that's that. So yeah, that was the reason I gave it 3 stars. I feel like if that wasn't in there, it would have been 4 maybe. Then again, I don't really know that it would, because there, like, not a lot went on, if I'm being honest. Like, relationship wise, they were just having a good time. I will say, like, 100 pages left of this book, I was over it. I didn't want to read anymore. I didn't understand why we still had 100 pages. I don't think it was exactly 100, but you know, it's close to it. It's like maybe 90 pages. And I was just like so confused why we were still going, because like the story was over. Like, we're at the point where they got back together after this. They were good. And then I realized like we hadn't figured out who assaulted him in the beginning. Which we do find out, by the way. I don't remember his name either. He was also part, I think he was on the football team. He does get arrested, so there's that. But like, we didn't need that many pages to get to that point, really, truly. We didn't. So yeah, it just kind of got boring there at the end. So that's all I'm gonna say about that one. I would say give it a read. It might be a one and done for y'all too. You might not like it, you might like it. So yeah, I would say give it a read. So let's move on to the second book. Give me a second. Okay. We're still with hockey. These next two are both hockey. I truly do not understand the rating this book got, or the next book, in fact. Okay, this is Egotistical Puckboy by two authors, Eden Finley and Saxon James. Genuinely, I don't know how the whole two author thing works, but maybe we should not be letting everyone write. Like, this is some of the worst writing I've ever had the displeasure of reading. And like, here's the thing, I'm not even that overcritical about my books. I really am not, but I don't understand. This has a 4.05 rating on Goodreads. I gave it 2 stars. I don't know how. I don't know how I got that rating. I don't like understand how people enjoyed this that much. And here's the thing, the actual plot of this book is fun. I eat that shit up. It's the writing that is so very bad. Like, it is not good writing. So let me read this. So it says, Ezra, partying dudes and hockey. What more could a gay NHL player want? If it weren't for Anton Hayes, my life would be perfect. Not that he affects my life in any way, at all. That would imply I care what the winger from Philly thinks of me, which I don't. Not even a one-night stand with him can thaw his misplaced animosity toward me. He says I'm the one with the ego, but he can talk. He rivals me for most egotistical puckboy in the league. I hate him as much as he hates me, even if I crave a repeat. Anton. When it comes to hockey, I'm all about the game. I've worked for years to be one of the best in the league, and I've done it without splashing my orientation all over the tabloids. My hockey image is one I've carefully cultivated, and after one night with Ezra, I cannot say his last name, I'm so sorry. Palasuk. I'm not trying. Okay, I risk it all. He's cocky, obnoxious, and has an ego bigger than Massachusetts. And okay, maybe he's the sexiest man I've ever known. We'll never get along, not when we sleep together, not even when my possessive streak awakens. That doesn't stop us from falling into bed together over and over again. So I should say also, this is part of the Puck Boys series, book 1. So it's enemies to lovers, and it is true enemies to lovers, like they hate each other, dead ass. At the beginning of this, they hate each other. They're also rivals, I guess, in some way, and they're both have huge ass egos. So it's not just one of them, it is both of them. They are both gay. I think Anton's gay. Yeah, they're both gay. Also, verse again. I was 2 for 2 for verse. I was having a good time with that part of all of these books. Not so much the rest, but so yeah. Here's the thing with this. I love enemies to lovers. That's why I picked it up. I was having a good time for like 2 seconds, and then I realized this writing is going to be bad. And it stayed bad the entire book, actually. I just, man. And like, that was my, honestly, most of my issue was just the writing. Like, also, this book was very unforgettable. Like, I don't really remember exactly what happened. I know Anton got traded to Ezra's team. I think while he was there, they started sleeping together. They still hated each other though. And they just kept sleeping with each other while hating each other. And then Anton got super possessive, as that said. And like they were exclusively sleeping with each other, so it was basically like enemies with benefits. And there was like this whole thing with Anton didn't trust Ezra to top him. And then eventually he trusts him and lets him top him. So I don't know, man. Truly not much was going on. And the writing was bad. I don't know why I continue to read it. Well, I do know why, because I'm trying not to DNF anything right now. It just was not good. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Ezra's character a lot. He was fun. But man, it was bad. Honestly, let me see if I can find, I don't know if I highlighted anything in this book or not. We're gonna see if I did. Give me a second to pull it up. Because I might have made notes of shit. Let's see. There was a line where he said, "You're my fuckboy now." No, honestly, everything I highlighted, sounds so bad. There was a point he made him beg, which did not enjoy. Oh yeah, there was like, so he was like, I don't like this guy. I've never liked this guy. And then 13 pages in, but the worst thing by far is realizing that for years I've thought the tension between Anton and me came from a place of resentment. It turns out it's because I want to fuck Anton Hayes. They proceeded to still hate each other the entire book. I don't... there was a point that they said bow chicka wow wow. What? Let's see. A therapist would say that I'm projecting all my internalized homophobia at the out and proud poster boy for gay pride, but it's not that. It exactly is that. Anton was a huge dick. If I'm being completely honest, I should say that. Anton was a piece of shit. He is. Ezra was like a fun hater. Anton was just low-key kind of homophobic. Because his thing was like he didn't want to be out to the world. So Ezra's out, right? There's like this whole what do they call it? Gay collective or some shit like that, where it's all like the gay, queer, I think there was a bisexual guy in there, and they all hang out whenever they play each other. Anton was like, I don't want people perceiving me like that, which is completely fine, but he was like a dick about it. And he hated on Ezra for being out, which like was fucked up. And then I don't know, there was a point that I don't think I have it highlighted, but it was like Anton was being all like pissy. I don't want to like shove my sexuality in people's faces or something. I don't know if he said exactly that, but that's what it felt like, and I hated that. Yeah, I don't know, just everything about this book just wasn't good. Yeah, I don't even have much to say about it because I don't remember most of it, except that I didn't like it, and that Anton was a piece of shit, and I didn't really like him, but I did like Ezra, so there was that. So that's all I'm gonna say about this book, because I wish I hadn't read it, and I will never recommend this to y'all. So moving on to the next book. Now, it is the same series, and you may be asking, Mo, why the fuck would you read something in the same series when you hated the first one? Yeah. I don't know either, in fact. So the thing is, these two guys were in the first book. So like these are all standalone books too, but you know, intertwined. And they were like low-key kind of fun in that book. There wasn't like much of them, but when they were together, I was like, this is fun. And I naively thought the writing would get better. In fact, I think it got worse. Yeah. This is called Irresponsible, Puckboy. It's the second book in the series. I feel like that's the only reason I read it right after the first one, because it was the second. So I was like, you know what, let's just give it a read. I shouldn't have. I forced myself to finish this book, while I complained the entire time. Oh my god. So initially, I gave this a 2-star. And then, so I do this fun little newsletter to my friends, every so often. And I was like typing out what all of these books to them to give them little updates. And I had this as a 2-star, and as I was typing out everything to say to them, I went back and changed it to a 1-star after typing because I was so annoyed again. This has a 4.02 rating on Goodreads. Okay. Trip. The worst part of being in love with my straight best friend is the fact he's too oblivious to see it. Years of pining have left me exhausted, and I need a break from Dex. I need space to get over my feelings, but when his relationship falls apart and he turns to me for comfort, I cave immediately. If there's one thing I hate more than being hurt, it's seeing Dex struggle. I can't leave him in a time of need, even if my friends say it's my biggest downfall. They say Dexter Mitchell is my weakness, but if that's true, I don't want to be strong. Dex. I've always been the dumb one. It's what I'm known for, and usually I don't let it get to me. I have hockey and I have my best friend Trip. What more do I need? To settle down, no thank you. Marriage, hard pass. According to ex-girlfriends, that that makes me irresponsible. But the solution I come up with to get over my fear of commitment might be my dumbest idea yet. Not only does it have team management breathing down my neck, but it puts a strain on my relationship with Trip. This PR nightmare could lose me, the only person I've ever loved. Losing girlfriends is nothing. Losing Trip, it's not an option. I'll do whatever it takes to keep him. So this is Best Friends to Lovers. Trip is gay, and he's out. He's part of the queer collective, whatever it's called. And Dex is straight. He's actually bisexual. And this is also a verse couple as well. So the 1-star, I guess, is for being a verse couple and having a bisexual character. I don't fucking know. This was so fucking bad. Oh my god. I just like, there's himbo, and then there's just like 0 brain cells whatsoever. Like, I've never had a thought in my life. That is Dex. He pisses me off to no end. Like, the dumbest character ever written. and not in a fun way. Like, he was just so fucking annoying. I hated him from the beginning. And Trip, like, is no better. Like, he has more common sense, but he's just stupid as fuck and getting himself in the situation. Like, I have so much hate on this that, like, I could actually talk about this, and I am. Okay, so let's start this. The whole I need space, he never gets space. He never even attempts to get space from him. Like, it's so fucking annoying. Dex is like, he's with this girlfriend, they break up. He says they break, I don't fucking know, man. They break up because he doesn't want to marry her. He's adamant on never getting married, right? He doesn't want it. Trip also does not want marriage with anyone, okay? That's where we are. I'm pretty sure anyway. That's what he said, right? Yeah, I'm fairly certain neither of them want to get married. And then, so he gets dumped, or she dumps him, he dumps her, I don't fucking know. One of them dumps the other. He goes to Trip to cry about it. And Trip is like, yeah, whatever, I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. He's always there for him. And Trip's little, like, group of queer friends is just like, you need space from him, you need to get away from him because you're in love with him and you need to stop being in love with him, right? And Trip is like, yeah, I know, but I'm not gonna do it. So at some point, they go to, so like during the summer, they always like go on a trip together. And, so this is taking place after the first book. So Anton and, Ezra are a couple at this point. And there's another guy here. What's his name? Oscar. Yeah, that seems right. Oscar is single. He's a player. And he's like, all right. So Dex is invited. He's like, we're going to pretend to be a couple. They pretend to be a couple. Trip sort of goes along with it, but then Dex is all like pouty about it. Like, he's a grown-ass man. These are grown-ass men. And he's acting like a child. It was a whole thing, man. I don't like... It was so bad. And then, so when he gets broken up with, like, they go, so they're still at this, like, wherever they were, like a cabin or something. Let me backtrack. So before this, they went to this, like, chapel, got married. I'm so serious. They fake got married. But it was by real people. Like, get married here, right? It wasn't a fake marriage at all. In fact, they thought if they didn't file the marriage license that it wouldn't be a legal marriage. The chapel people do it for them. And so they find out while they're on this trip that they are legally married. And their coach is like, you need to get here as soon as possible. By the way, they are on the same team. So they go to this, their coach, I think it was the coach, or the, I don't remember who it was. It doesn't really matter. They go to this meeting and they're like, you have these two options. We can trade one of you and y'all can get a divorce, or y'all can stay married and act like y'all are married. So they stay married and they're like, we'll stay married for a year and then divorce. So they move in together, and quite literally, like, immediately they start fucking. Mind you, this dude thought he was straight. And he still says he's straight. It feels like one of those... Okay, if any of you watch, like, Thai BL dramas, you know how, like, back in the day, they would... I'm not gay, I'm only gay for you, homophobic bullshit. That's what this felt like. Because I don't think he ever actually admitted that he was bi. I think he just, like, kept saying, I only want this guy. Anyways, so they continue to fuck, and they continue to go with this guy still straight, because that makes sense. And then there's this random homophobic dude in their locker room that's, like, trying to prove they're not married, which, like, fair, he was right. But he was also homophobic. I don't know what the point of that was in, like, the dynamic of this story. I mean, don't get me wrong, it makes sense, hockey players are homophobic. But, like, this book made me tired, okay? It exhausted me. I hated them. I hated both of them. I hated the story. I hated everything about this. And that's, yeah. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. 1 star. Don't read it. I mean, clearly other people disagree with me, but it wasn't a good book. It wasn't good writing. Both characters were annoying as shit. Nobody in this was likable. And that's all I feel like saying on it. So, goodbye. Next. Next we have Formula 1. And that is the only book that I actually, would read again. So, Pole Position by Rebecca J. Caffery. I did give it 3 stars. And it has a 3.57 rating on Goodreads. So, like, I feel like me and everyone else are on par with this. I don't know, like, my main issue with this was more of the ending than anything else. So let me read this. Red, White, and Royal Blue meets Formula 1. That made no sense, actually. That's not what happened. Kyan Walker has always been the golden boy of motorsport. The 4-time championship winner has racing in his DNA. His father was a legend on the track. Just don't let him catch you comparing the two. As reckless and unreliable at home as he was behind the wheel, there's nothing Kyan wants less than to be just like his dad. Enter Harper James. This year's rookie caught up to compete with the big boys, and Kyan's new teammate. Cocky, hot-headed, and with a reputation for breaking as many hearts as he does new track records. Harper's the opposite of Kyan in every way. But then the season starts, there's no getting away from him. This might be one of the biggest, most dangerous sports in the world, so why then does Kyan's heart feel safer flying around the track at 220 miles per hour than when he's anywhere near his teammate? Now, she said 200 miles per hour, so I know this is American, because be for real, this is Formula 1. They go by kilometers, which I don't have a problem with that. Obviously, I'm American too, but, like, just to point that out, it bugged me because specifically Formula 1, like, that's a European sport. Like, anyways, yeah, so I gave it 3 stars. It was enemies to lovers. I guess well, I wouldn't say rivals lovers, they were teammates. So technically they were competing against each other, but like also Harper never had a chance of beating Cayenne, so it didn't really matter. And if you know anything about Formula One, it's teammates kind of help each other out in a sense. You have your number one driver. Some teams will say they don't, they're liars. You have your number one driver that the number two driver always helps out, if we're being honest here. If needed, of course, you know. So anyways, there was, okay, I did enjoy this. So there was an age gap. I don't love age gap, but the age gap was under 10 years old. Not years old, 10, you know, age gap was under 10. So we look past. I don't remember their exact ages, but so yeah, Formula One. Now, the problems I had, if you are not into F1, you probably don't give a shit about this. Don't get me wrong, I'm not even like into F1 anymore, if I'm being honest. I used to be. I used to watch it religiously. I don't really watch it anymore. But I still know the fucking rules. So, yeah. Cayenne is a dude that's been racing forever. He hates his dad. His dad was never there. He's like an alcoholic or some shit. He is the worst. We hate him. He's not really in this much. Harper like idolized his dad. So that's where Cayenne is like, I hate this guy. He won't stop talking about my dad. Harper is like kind of a dick. Not kind of, he is a dick actually. For part of this book. Like I sort of get it. So Harper like starts with like he likes Cayenne because he looks up to him. Because he was in Formula 2 and he gets moved up when Cayenne's partner, his teammate, gets injured. So Harper's like he's idolizing Cayenne, and then he meets Cayenne, and Cayenne's just like standoffish. It's not like personal, he just like that's how he is. And Harper doesn't like that, and he takes it personally, and then he starts to hate him. So that's where the enemies come in. They do not like each other for a good portion of this. I'd say like maybe 9. No, that's the other book. I'm getting books confused. Hold on. I don't actually know when I guess whenever the season starts, they have to like, they're like forced proximity type shit. They're living together essentially, in like a camper. And so they're always together there. At some point they start sleeping with each other. And they're still like hating on each other though. Like they're still giving it to each other because Cayenne's like, you need to take racing more seriously, and Harper's like, I want to party type shit. And that's their like big issue with each other. Harper is just like this party boy, and Cayenne is to himself. He doesn't want to do any of that. So they're like complete opposites essentially. So they're butting heads, blah blah blah. Eventually they do sleep together. They are both bisexual, I think. Maybe. If I remember correctly, they're both bisexual. Just don't quote me on that, because I don't really remember. I don't know. They're not a verse couple, but like it was talked about, like, because Harper like topped other dudes, but he didn't top Kyan. Kyan topped him. But like they could have switched, I guess. I don't know, but it never happened. So they do sleep together at some point, and then they continue to sleep together. Harper is not the type to settle down, which is very clear. Kyan, on the other hand, is like, he's not like, oh, I want you to be my boyfriend. He's more on the side of like, I don't want you sleeping with other people if we're gonna be sleeping together type thing. But he's not like asking him for a relationship. And then Harper freaks out about that at some point, and then he like goes out with this other person and then comes back and he's like, actually I'm cool with that, I guess. So anyways, they do their thing. It's like a fun back and forth. What I didn't like, let's get into that. Why I gave it 3 stars. One thing is, Kyan spent this entire fucking book saying, so like people were saying he was gonna retire at the end of this year. He spent this entire book like, I never said I was. I don't know if I am. I wish people would stop saying it, just to fucking retire at the end. Like, why did we spend so much fucking time on Kyan complaining about that just for him to retire? Like, what the fuck, man? There was also this whole thing. The reason he retired is because, so his mom had Alzheimer's, and she was all like, or he was like, I wish she does die, by the way. And he was like, I should have been there for her all this time, blah, blah, blah. But I'm gonna retire now because I want to be there for my sister and nieces. He doesn't live with them, so I don't, like, sure, they live by each other, I think. I just, like, I understand people being close with their family, but like, you don't retire from a sport to hang out with family like that when they're not like your kids, your partner. It's your sister. She has a husband and kids. I didn't understand that. It was a stupid reason. So anyways, I didn't love that he retired, or the reason he retired. I also didn't love, so I don't understand why this happened. This author clearly watches Formula One, or at least knows stuff about Formula One. Or maybe she doesn't. I don't really know. She got like the small details right, okay, about like races and whatnot. But then she fucked up like one of the biggest rules in F1. I don't even think you need to like watch F1 to know this is a rule, because this is just like a rule in any kind of racing. You can't pass a safety car. You can't pass when there's a yellow flag out, okay? Kyan ends up getting in a wreck. Like, this is like towards the end of the book, okay? He ends up getting in a wreck, and his car is still on the track. He's still getting out of his car. They need to remove that car, okay? There's a yellow flag. There's a safety car out there. So tell me why the fuck Harper passes a car. He straight up passed the safety car. I just... what the fuck do you mean? He won the race by doing that. Small details got right, and then missed one of the biggest fucking details out there. So, there was that. I fully took a star away because of that. There was also a bit of like some inconsistencies. I think there was at one point they were like in the bedroom, like on the bed, and then they just like magically transported it to the couch. I think the author forgot what they were writing at that point. But anyways, so there's that. I liked this. I really did. I would reread. I would just skip those fucking scenes because what the hell, man? That pissed me off. So anyways, let's move on. We have 2 more books to get through, and I think this video is going to be long as shit. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the next book, we're moving to football. It is called Blitz'd by Lee McCormick and R.S. Mckenzie. This is another one of those 2 stars. 2 authors. This is 2 stars, actually. I did give it 2 stars. It has a 4.03 rating on Goodreads. So, here's the thing. I did not know this was dark romance before getting into it. I realized it very early on in, but it's not that I don't like dark romance. It's that I found out I don't think I like dark romance outside of like a mafia, because this shit doesn't make sense to me. Because why the actual fuck are college football players acting like this? I don't know. They shouldn't be. So let's read it. Xander, kissing my rival shouldn't have felt so good. Finding out my girlfriend has been cheating on me for months makes me do something crazy. Kiss my rival to make her jealous. I wasn't supposed to like kissing Kieran Slade. He's a psycho who demands things of me, things I shouldn't want, but there's something about Kieran that draws me in, and now I'm caught in his web. He won't let me go. Kieran, the number 1 rule, don't care about people. Caring is a distraction and emotions are messy, and messy is something I hate, which is why I'm confused when the messiest player I've ever met, my rival, kisses me and turns my world on its head. Xander Braith is sweet, emotional, and straight. That doesn't stop him from coming back for more. And that doesn't stop me from realizing I'll burn the world down to make him mine. Okay. Kieran, I think, is bisexual. And I guess Xander is too now. He was like straight until, he kissed this man. I just made y'all fall. Anyways, so yeah, Kieran's bisexual, Xander is straight, and then he's bisexual. He's the one that kissed this man in the first place. So this, I don't actually know if this is part of a series. This might be a standalone. Yeah, I think like my biggest problem was that it was dark romance, which I should have read before getting into this, but whatever. And the thing is, I didn't realize I was gonna dislike the dark romance theme of this, because I guess I've never really read dark romance outside of mafia shit. But this just doesn't make sense. I don't understand why we have random ass college football players acting like this. Like, I just don't get it. It makes no sense in like this context. If y'all like that sort of thing, by all means, teach their own. I just don't understand it. So I will never be reading another dark romance like this again. So that part is on me, I guess. But anyways, so the whole thing is like, Xander is just this, he does get cheated on in the very beginning. He finds out it's like his kicker or something on his team, that doesn't actually play. And he like sucks at being a kicker. And then Kieran is just, he's just a psychopath, if I'm being honest. Like, there's nothing redeeming about him. Like, he's not a good person. He is not a good boyfriend, which, like, they're not really boyfriends until, I guess, the end. He just, like, goes there, takes what he wants, and leaves. And, I didn't really like him that much, if I'm being honest. Xander, I also didn't really like that much. I didn't really like either of them that much, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Because, like, Xander just, like, went along with everything. I get this is a dark romance, but man, that dude did not stick up for himself, like, at all. Just gave in to everything. And I'm like, stand up, dude. I do something besides just whatever this dude tells you. So yeah, I think take this rating with a grain of salt. If you like dark romances in any kind of aspect, you'll probably like this. If you don't read it. Do not make the same mistake as me. And if you think you might not like dark romances, outside of like certain tropes or whatever, maybe don't read this either. I mean, or if you want to give it a try, go for it. It just didn't make sense, like, at all. Yeah, I don't even like know if I can even talk anything else about it, because that was my main problem, and that was like the entire book. The entire book was just dark romance. It was just Kieran being a psychopath, getting exactly what he wants from Xander whenever he wants it, and Xander just going along with all of it. Like, he was a full-on stalker. I'm like so serious. He went to this man's college and stalked him. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really got anything else to say about this. Just know they're football players, okay? 2 different schools, but they're like an hour apart or some shit, or 30 minutes apart. I don't know. They're like rival schools. And Kieran goes to Xander's school all the time and like fucks him and then leaves, essentially. Yeah. That's kind of what happened. They like randomly went on dates that never lasted long, because they just went home and fucked. Yeah, that was kind of all there was to it. It was just kind of like a cycle. So I don't really have anything else to say about that. 2 for me, might not be for y'all. 4 might be more accurate. I don't know. Do what you will with that. So moving on to the last one that I read, which is another Formula One crash test by Amy James. Now, this is Second Chance. I knew it was Second Chance, and I still read it. I don't particularly like Second Chance. And this is why. This book is a perfect example why. I like second chance when it's like the perfect circumstance for second chance. So like, I need it to be the fault of neither of them. That is not the case for this. Because I tend to get pissed at one of them if it's their fault and they do something shitty. I no longer want them together. So I gave it 2 stars. Part of me did think this was going to be like more of a his parents are homophobic and they kind of split them up. That is not really the case. I mean, his parents are homophobic, and by his I mean Travis. Not Travis. The other one. Jacob. Jacob's parents are super homophobic. But that's not why they broke up. They broke up because Jacob is a piece of shit. So anyways, let's read this. Formula One meets Red, White, and Royal Blue. In this contemporary sports romance in which an F1 phenom battling for the championship is sent spinning after his secret love is involved in a massive crash. It has nothing to do, like, nothing to compare it to Red, White, and Royal Blue. I have no fucking clue why these keep doing that, because they're not even close to being the same thing at all. I should say Travis is Formula One, Jacob is Formula 2. 24-year-old Formula One driver Travis Keeping is halfway through an incredible racing season with the championship well within his sights. But when a massive crash in Formula 2 leaves driver Jacob Nichols in critical condition, Travis's world is flipped upside down. No one knows, but he and Jacob have been in a secret relationship for almost a year. Now, the only boy he's ever loved is clinging to life. His Formula One team can't understand why his performance is faltering, and he's locked in a cold war with Jacob's parents who want him as far away from their son as humanly possible. Travis is sure everything will get better when Jacob wakes up, but he soon realizes his underestimated Jacob's parents' influence on their son. As the F1 season barrels on, Travis and Jacob find themselves alone and miserable in opposite sides of the world. Oh, nope. I lost my place. Okay. But with some new friends by their sides, both drivers will be pushed outside of their comfort zones and onto a journey of self-discovery in this angsty emotional romance, one that just might lead them back to each other in the end. So, not only is the second chance a problem in this, but we just didn't get enough scenes with them together, like Travis and Jacob together, for me to even care about them. Like, Formula 2, at the very beginning of this book, Formula 2, there's a crash involving Jacob and 4 other drivers. He is in a coma. So, mind you, this woman is killing people off. She killed more people than the last thriller I read. So this one driver, we don't really know anything about. She mentions his name. He dies immediately. He's out of the way. And then 2 of the other guys that were in the crash had minor injuries, cleared. But the last 2 was Jacob and this other guy, Anthony. They're both in critical condition. They're in comas. Eventually, Anthony wakes up. And then she kills him. I was so mad at her for doing that. Because, like, genuinely, I thought Anthony and Travis were going to form a bond and, a friendship. And then she killed him off. A chapter later. I was like, damn. Okay, so, here's the thing. Jacob stays in a coma for, like, the first, I think, 90 pages of this book. He wakes up. So we spend the first 90 pages of him being in this coma. So we do not get him in the present tense at all. We do get like a few like past like flashbacks of like Travis having flashbacks of like, this is what we were like. Even those flashbacks genuinely were not enough, and they really weren't that great of a couple, because when we find out, what we find out later on is that Jacob didn't even consider them a couple at all. So like, even back this whole year, Jacob was not treating this as a relationship. Travis was. And they just did not seem great. And then as soon as he wakes up, Travis, of course, has spent like a long time at this hospital. So here's the issue that Jacob has. Now, I don't blame Jacob for getting mad at this, but at the same time, I don't really know what he expected. So Jacob is bisexual, but he is not out to his parents, his family. He has 2 siblings and his parents. All 4 of them are homophobic as shit. None of them know he was dating Travis. They do not know he's bisexual. So, he kept that from them. Did I say Travis? Jacob. Jesus Christ. Their names are so, like, basic that I keep getting them confused. Jacob's parents. Alright. Travis, however, is he bisexual too? Or is he gay? I don't remember. He's, like, not out to the world, but, like, his family knows. And so when it happens, Jacob's parents obviously go to the hospital. But so does Travis. And that's when they found out. Actually, they found out when Jacob woke up and he immediately reached for Travis. So, like, low-key, I guess it's not really Travis's fault, because Travis never told them they were dating. He said they were friends from Formula 1 racing, whatever. Yeah, that's when they found out. And then Jacob, once he got his bearings back, realized what happened. And he was mad about it. And, like, okay, yes, rightfully so, you can be mad about that. But then he was just the biggest fucking dick on this planet to Travis after that. Because don't get me wrong, it's not like Jacob's parents were like, oh, we're gonna disown you now. It wasn't like that. It was more, we don't want this guy by you. Like, we don't want you dating this guy. But, like, they were still there for him. Like, they just hated Travis, if anything. So Travis kept going to the hospital. Jacob was finally like, I don't know, it was probably a week that Travis was like going up there every day when he woke up, and Jacob was a complete dick to him the entire time. Like, he was a complete asshole. Like, I hated this man. So he dumps him, and at this point, like, when he dumps him, I'm just like, I fucking hate this guy. At this point, like, he's a huge douche. He should be lonely. So then Travis leaves. He, like, is trying to turn around his life and not be miserable. And Jacob's like, we never had a relationship for the last year. You were the only one that was thinking like that and bullshit like that. And so Travis goes back to his home, or to the racing. I don't know. They were in the middle of an F1 season, okay? And his like manager maybe, and her husband, and then Jake, or Travis's teammate, like, were all there for him, and they all like became besties and kept hanging out and shit. So like he had them and everything was going good for them. And then we switch over at this point, like halfway through the book, to Jacob's point of view. And at this point, I was like, I don't want to read this anymore. I do not give a single fuck about Jacob's point of view. And then she proceeded to give me nothing with his point of view. In fact, so we skipped, I think it's been like 10 months, or no. Is it 10 months? Yeah, maybe. I think it was like 10 months. And he's avoided everything about Travis. So he hasn't been watching races. He's all miserable because he's trying to rehab. And then he is staying with his family again because, of course, he doesn't have a seat anymore. Like, he stopped talking to his team. He's like, it was the whole thing. And he's living with his parents. He hates it. He hates living with his parents. He doesn't really like his family that much. And so he's like being all miserable and shit, but like he did that to himself, so I don't feel bad. And then out of nowhere, he starts emailing teams, or he does get a therapist. I forgot about that. He does get a therapist, and she's like, maybe you should like reach out to teams, see if you can get a seat. He does that. And everybody's like, no, we don't want you. We don't have a seat for you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like all discouraged and shit. And then he's walking like by this TV, I guess there was one, and he sees that Travis is like winning the championship for that year or some shit. I don't remember. And then he's like, light bulb. I love this guy. What the fuck? And then he decided, I need to fly to London. And this is where we go all Taylor Swift, and they keep flying on planes. So what happened is he sees Travis, and Travis is all like happy and shit. And he's like, I want that man back. So he goes to London. He lies to his parents, tells them that he's going to London to visit an old friend, or an old ex-girlfriend. And his parents end up telling the ex-girlfriend's parents, and they tell her. And so she reaches out to him, and she's like, turns out you're coming to see me, or some shit like that. So they kind of form a friendship. He goes and stays with her in London. And London is where Travis lives, by the way. He goes to this man's house because, like, he was practically living with Travis when they were together. And he sees Travis with this other guy, and they're like making out in the hallway. Okay. And Jacob's like, oh shit, he has a boyfriend. Now, I have to leave. Mind you, what Jacob thought was going to happen, he was going to show up and they were going to make out. And happily ever after. that pissed me off in its own, like, God, that man. But unfortunately, that is what fucking happened. So, as he realized, this dude has this boyfriend, he leaves, and then for some fucking reason, Travis breaks up with this guy. He's like, I'm not into him. I'm still in love with Jacob. He decides at this very moment he needs to go see Jacob. So he flies to Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is where Jacob's parents live. And he goes to this house and he's like, I need to see Jacob. And his mom is like, actually, he's in London. So anyways, sorry, my phone stopped recording. Anyways, then he flies back to London. Jacob flies back to Albuquerque because his parents are like, you need to come home. And then, then he flies back to London because he found out Travis went to see him, and he's pissed at his parents now. And he tells them off, and then he goes there, and they start making out before he even apologizes. It was hardly an apology. It was like, it was the worst thing that I've ever read as like a makeup second chance. We're together again. I hated it. It sucked. Anyways, so yeah, do not recommend. And I'm tired of talking about these, so I'm gonna stop there. And that's been my last few months reading, unfortunately. I hope y'all had a better time these last few months reading than I have. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll see y'all whenever I see y'all again. Bye, guys.